Hello, friends. There is this saying that we often use is I leave it with God. I trust God will take care of it. I mentioned it a little bit yesterday. And I think it's really important that we start switching that into what it actually means. And I just keep sharing here with you, not as the authority on God or anything, but definitely the authority of my own experience, my own insights and inspirations. And I invite everybody to do that and to become your own sovereign expression, where you start realizing that God that we say we are surrendering to, or let it go and let go and let God. I mean, we've all used them and they're great. I have no problems with them at all. But in my experience, it just keeps taking it to a deeper level of what that means and how does that work? Because when we give it to God, it's almost like we're giving it, yeah, we give it to something outside of ourselves. There's still this, old programming that God is out there, either in some human form who has been revered for 2000 plus years, or other ones where it's like an outside of ourself presence. And in that way, we keep living in the matrix of duality. So you can see, as long as we do that out there and we're here, it's duality, it's not oneness. So when we talk about, for instance, thy will be done, not mine, but thy will be done. To me, that means that my will, being pranila as a separate sense of self, is surrendering that whole identity, that whole misidentification as being separate from the divine, not that divine, this divine that is everywhere, omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent, right? Everywhere, all power, all knowing. That is basically what we surrender to. And for me, it's definitely a lot easier when I, over the years, have just deepened into tuning in to that omnipresence or the field that Rumi talks about. Or heaven is spread all over the earth and man cannot see it. One of my favorite quotes for many years from the Gospel of Thomas. And because of that, it's been so alive in me that there is um, this curiosity to tune in to that heaven on earth. Where is it? Why can't I see it? I have talked about this before, but in my own process, it's just an ongoing deepening into that. So, and again, in my experience, that happens in here in my heart, not my physical heart, because that's still part of the 3D experience. And I'm glad we'll all have one of those. But the spiritual heart, the heart of oneness, to me, that's the portal of the divine expressing itself. But we need to go there. We need to surrender basically to who we truly are and which is everywhere. So as I let go, like I've talked a lot about, I letting go of that fear-based 3D world matrix because of my cat, Sasha. I have to really leave that behind because that world is my will, created in my mind as if I am separate from the one, from the whole, from the field, from heaven. That is my will, and I am willing to surrender my will to thy will being what I experience in my heart. And then there is just oneness. So the more it is really like slipping into the divine field, even though I may not know what it is, but it is really helpful, at least for me again, to have a sense of it. So it's not just a mind thing. And that's why I always invite you to feel what it is that you are longing for. And the only thing you can long for when you go in here is the field itself, is your true essence, your soul connection. That is what is the longing. It's the same thing. So that's why with my letting go of fear, breaking up with fear, that's all the matrix. And I have to leave that behind because that is my will. I am living as if I'm separate from the whole. So what we are surrendering, if we say, I'll leave it with God, I let it go, leave it with God, let it go to God, surrender it to God. I trust God will take care of it. That's kind of, again, the mind trusting, No, you don't need to trust. It's a good step in between, absolutely. But once you start sensing into that, that is what we need to learn to trust through our experience. It's like through our opening up to that. Right? That's real prayer is like, show me. I feel the longing. I in my case, I want it more than anything. So now I open up to that portal, and now I need to stay in that portal and keep allowing that to show me what thy will is. And when I'm in thy will, then I am in, I call it I will, because it's the I am. And that is who I truly am. That's who we all truly are. And the more we stay in that, then we are allowing the divine will, which is heaven on earth, the oneness, no division, no fear, no disease, no loss. It does not exist in oneness. But as long as we live here and we are surrendered to oneness, right? There is still that duality, and it's based on fear. Like I hope God will take care of it. It's not like a feeling of knowing. We can call it trusting knowing. I'm learning to trust it more by knowing it, but when I know it, feel it, sense it as my being, then there is no need to trust because there is no separation, because my will and thy will has become I will, if I can use that. So breaking up with fear that I've been talking about is a huge liberation for me right now, because there's that underlying grasping, pulling, being pulled out still. It's diminishing because I am letting myself rest back into who and what I am with an open attitude of like, okay, now thy will, now it's your turn. Now show me what that even means, because I've been living over here for so long that I forgot about it. And I've been so far away that I barely know or sense that there is something else. That's for most people, right? They're like, well, I don't trust it. But I think most of us, if not all of us, we do long for something that we can relax in, that we can feel peaceful about, that we don't need to battle and work hard and not trust and be afraid. I think most of us really want to leave that behind. And if you want to leave it behind, we need to go to the place where that doesn't even exist. And that's what, the Gospel of Thomas, heaven is spread all over the earth and man cannot see it. Not with your physical five senses. Yes, with your heart, because you feel the longing for it. You feel the oneness field, the divine presence, your soul connection, giving you, little perfumes, little senses, little indications that there is something else. Wow, I get a nice deep relaxation in my whole body when I say that. So we are not too far, we haven't gone too far as long as we can feel that, oh, yeah, I want that. Then we are connected immediately, but we need to stay in that connection. And that takes a lot of practice. I hope that's helpful. This is the place where you allow the new paradigm, heaven on earth, the field beyond right doing and wrong doing, like Rumi talks about. This is it. It has always been here. It's here now. It will always be here. But I sense that something has happened in consciousness that we can tune into it easier. And the more we do that, we literally start living in a different dimension that has always been here. When we're done with this dimension, and it takes work, it really takes work to unhook so we don't do the bypass, because you can't go to this place if you bring duality with you, if you bring parts of you that are still living in fear, living in survival, that has to be surrendered into this, softly and gently. But if you're holding here and you're hoping this is going to work, this doesn't fit here, right? It's like oil and water. You cannot bring duality into oneness. It's impossible. And that's a good thing because we don't want that here. But the more we live here and start getting to know it and making ourselves available for it, this just dissolves because it was never real. It was never true. It was never who we were. So this shift is monumental. And yeah, if you want support with that, please set up a self-discovery session with me and see if I can support you on your journey. But also this coming Tuesday, June 3rd, I have my monthly online gathering. It's in the description below, and I hope you join me because that's where we can practice that and start to trust it more, make it more real, start to feel into what is normally dismissed or suppressed or ignored. So we want to bring this a lot, make it alive, bring it into this dimension here, and then we know where to go to. So I hope to see you on Tuesday, or maybe on a self-discovery call, or maybe here again tomorrow, or next time I make a video. All right, friends, be well.